Support for this series comes from NPR sponsor GoDaddy. Making a different future starts with you. That's why GoDaddy does more than help you find a name you can create, you can sell, and get found online. So any small business can be a driving force to create change or build an empire. So whatever it is you have in mind that will help make a different future, find everything you need to get started at GoDaddy.com. Because the future isn't decided yet. It's up to us to make it happen. Start different at GoDaddy.com. It's Guy here, and welcome to How I Built This Fellows Edition from NPR. For this year's How I Built This Fellowship competition, we selected 10 early-stage entrepreneurs looking to take their big ideas to the next level. Today, I'm talking with Katie Mitchell, who started the business Good Books in Atlanta with her mom, Katherine. Together, they're building a community that centers on Black literature through monthly book clubs, author spotlights, and pop-up events. And while they just started the business in the spring of 2019, Katie's love of books started long before that, at a time she could rarely be found without one.
Yeah, always a book in my hand, a book in the backpack, book in the car, just always wanting to read. And the way my mom raised my brother and I, it was something that was just fun. It was an activity. I remember standing in the living room when we lived in Manhattan, Kansas, and reciting Langston Hughes poems. I had the little short ones and my brother had the longer ones, but it's been something that's just been so a part of my life. And it's really just shaped the way I see the world. And my mom was really big on teaching us not what to think, but how to think and how to come to our own conclusions. And of course, books played a huge role in that.
Who did you like to read as a little girl?
As a little girl, I loved the American Diary series where it was a girl from ancient Egypt. And I really loved Addie. She was the girl who was a former enslaved person. I still have them and I'm like, I can't wait to pass these down to my daughter. But yeah, reading someone's diary, and I feel like it was a little bit of me being nosy, but also a little bit of wanting to just learn the history in a fun and different way.
So I want to ask you about the experience that you have when you read. Do you get lost in books? Is it like this immersive thing where it doesn't matter what's going on around you, but you are completely lost in that book?
Yeah, definitely. Really good fiction does that for me. And before I shared a little bit about my struggle with mental health issues, that's really what got me through it. Reading books that had nothing to do with mental health issues, with people who were just going on adventures and living their life. And like for those hours that I was reading those books, all my problems didn't exist because I was just in it.
How did you come to the idea for the business that you created, Good Books?
So it started in my parents' house, selling books through Instagram DM. And when I look back, Good Books started May 2019, but it really has roots in 1930s rural Mississippi when my grandfather was born. He, along with my grandmother, were sharecroppers, and he left school to help out his family and didn't learn how to read or write. But he instilled in his children, his grandchildren, the importance of that. And he made sure that they knew how to. Even though he lived to be 82 and he never learned, he raised his family and showed us how important it was. And we officially launched a month after me and my mom were just having a conversation over breakfast. And it was kind of a lull. And she said, why don't we start a bookstore? And I was like, yeah, why don't we? And it kind of just happened super fast after that. We knew that we wanted it to be all Black books. We knew that we wanted to be mobile and be able to bring literature and prose to the people. And looking back, I see like that's such a huge part of why I was raised the way I was. I feel like it was very intentional with our family trying to, move past that point in history where it was hard for Black people to get access to books and learn how to read. And it was seen as more important to work and provide for your family, which is important and which helped them survive racist rural Mississippi.
Katie, can you talk a little bit about how Good Books works?
Yeah, of course. Before COVID-19, we were doing pop-ups around the city, like I said, to have that mobile aspect, bring books to people who typically wouldn't have Black books in their neighborhood. After COVID happened, we transitioned to 100% online, including an online book club where we discuss books. And then we have a large social media community where we talk about books online. And we are creating Atlanta's first mobile Black bookmobile. So when outside is open and it's safe to do so, we'll be driving around the city and bringing books to people that way. So you can kind of think of it as a food truck for books or a bookstore in a tiny house that will come to neighborhoods and book deserts and parks and just have that really communal experience around reading.
What is your broader vision for Good Books? It's in Atlanta now. You're virtual, but tell me what your vision is 5, 10 years from now. What does Good Books look like?
The vision is it scares me a little bit, and I think that's good. I see it as becoming a fleet of bookmobiles in cities that have a storied Black literature tradition and history. So Atlanta, of course, Selma, Harlem, Oakland, Shreveport, like all these places. I would love to see that have this fleet of bookmobiles where people can really make it their own, and it can we can co-create it with the communities that it'll be in.
Do you see this as I know you're running a for-profit business, but do you see this sort of as a hybrid kind of for-profit, nonprofit type of model?
I definitely do see it as something that is doing a social good. We partner with groups in Atlanta and Chicago that give books to incarcerated people and also give books for free to students. So I haven't incorporated it as a nonprofit, but we do things that like profit isn't our first motive. We do want people to learn and engage with the literature and the thoughts and have it as a like a third space for just gathering and learning and supporting each other.
Katie, as part of the How I Built This Fellowship, you were able to attend some workshops, including a workshop with Robin McBride of the McBride Sisters collection. She talked about telling brand stories. What did you take away from that conversation?
First, Robin is awesome. I was kind of starstruck. I was trying to keep it low when we were on the call, but she really brought it home for me that people are buying from you because they believe in you and they believe in your vision. Anyone can get a book from any other place. You can go to Amazon, you can go to thrift stores, Barnes and Noble. There's places people can get books, but people shop with me and my mom because of our story and because of our passion and what we bring to the space.
Like every founder is a real person and with a real personality and a real passion, either for the product or services you created or are providing. Every brand has a reason for why you created it in the first place. And I think sometimes people tend to overlook that as being a piece of what's really important. Not necessarily why they created it, but just the fact that, again, people are also buying into you, right? And they need a reason to believe. The passion that you guys feel should resonate with the person who you're telling the story to as well, but it's got to be true.
She let us know that your backstory isn't something to be ashamed about. I shared with her that I was kind of hesitant to talk about my family's history with illiteracy because it's something that they had been ashamed of. It's not something that people just shout from the rooftops, but she let me know like that's part of your story and that is what led you to where you are now. And it's not your shame to hold because it's not something that's shameful.
That's Katie Mitchell, co-founder of Good Books Atlanta. Thanks for watching How I Built This Fellows Edition. For more information about the Fellows, go to summit.npr.org/fellows. This message comes from NPR sponsor GoDaddy. Making a different future starts with you. GoDaddy helps you create, sell, and get found online so you can create change or build an empire. Start different at GoDaddy.com.